everybody, I am Liz and today I am here to do a video I don't do often, and that is a TBR video. So July is going to be an intense month because it's the reading rush and the final Bibliothon. And so as with video challenges, you also get book reading challenges. And so I have selected, based on their criteria, some books to choose from. I definitely have backups because being a mood reader, I do not tend to stick to TBRs. But at this moment, I'm feeling pretty excited for the ones I have picked. So before I get into the books that I will be reading specifically for those two read-a-thons, I will talk about two books I anticipate to read before those read-a-thons start. One you've heard already in my June wrap-up and July current reads, which is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I am already listening to the audiobook and I am enjoying it so far. The other book I hope to read and finish before the read-a-thons is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I have tried to read this book several times through a library loan with an audiobook. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but I'm still super stoked to read this, as it is a contemporary story where Monday, Claudia's friend, has gone missing and she doesn't believe that people are doing enough to try to find her. They believe that she's a runaway, whereas Claudia thinks something happened. Those are the two books I hope to read before the read-a-thon. We'll see if that happens. So let's hop, skip, and jump right into these read-a-thons. So first up is the final Bibliothon. This goes from July 11th to the 19th. It's 9 days. They want to go out with a bang and I am super stoked. So first up we have the group book, which is Aurora Rising by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is another epic sci-fi space odyssey story by the brilliant duo, and it's written in a traditional novel format this time, and I'm really excited to pick it up and see if I like it. I really enjoyed the first chapter when I read it back when I went to the Aurora Rising signing, so I think it's just a great pick and I am so stoked to read it and get to it. I hear it's amazing and a tearjerker. Our second book for this 9-book read-a-thon challenge is to read a host's 5-star read. And so we get 9 options to choose from, and I went with Scythe by Neil Shusterman because this is a book I really want to read. I really enjoyed the first chapter and I really want to learn more about this interesting society where death doesn't happen naturally any longer, and so they have scythes to do the deed and prevent overpopulation. So it sounds very interesting. So the third reading challenge is to read a book based on the cover. I am not entirely sure what that means. I have no exact idea of the direction of this challenge. I'm guessing it is read a book that you purchased based upon the cover, and I'm gonna roll with that. So we're going with Ink by Alice Broadway. Obviously this cover is stunning, but the story itself sounds very interesting, as essentially every act and event you partake on as you are living gets inked on your body. And our main character, Leora's father, dies, and it is found that he has a mark that is the most serious crime of the society. And Leora knows that her father would have never created this crime, and so she partakes on a journey to clear his name. The fourth challenge is to read an adult genre book. And for that, I picked Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. 1, I love Neil Gaiman's books, but 2, I also want to really watch the Amazon Prime show of Good Omens with David Tennant. So I'm definitely going to jump on this. I always want to read books before I watch them. It doesn't always happen, but I'm hoping to do that so far with this one. Essentially, it takes place where an angel and a demon team up to stop the end of the world. The fifth challenge is a free choice, and for that I decided to pick Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology because I really want to read this story. It sounds amazing and it's a free choice. Our sixth challenge is to read a book from an author you haven't read before, and for that I picked The Plague by Joanne Dame. I really want to read this story. I absolutely adored the first chapter back when I read it. I need to hop on this, and it's short enough to where I'm sure I can do so. The seventh reading challenge is to read a graphic novel. I am not certain if I'm going to pick up the latest edition of The Wicked and the Divine, which is volume 8. Old is the new, because I have read up to 7 and 8 was just released this year in March. So I might pick that up, or I might start a new one because I'm really interested and intrigued on reading the graphic novel Monstrous. The artwork is stunning. It just sounds really interesting and it sounds very dark and sinister, and so I'm pretty intrigued by it. The eighth challenge is to read a book you were really excited for but never picked up. And for that, I have chosen a book that I keep really wanting to read, and then I just keep failing to do so. And that is Perish by Shannon Crane Camp. She is a really good friend of mine. I read one of her books already and I just really want to read this one. It sounds so interesting. It's a paranormal type of story where these kids are going out playing ghost hunter and get into a lot of trouble. The last and ninth challenge happens to be to read a predicted 5-star read. And with that, I have chosen The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a hugely popular book here on BookTube. Most people love it and give it a 5 out of 5 stars, and I don't think I'm going to be an exception to this. So those are the 9 books I have chosen for the 9 reading challenges of the Bibliothon. I don't know if I'll end up reading all 9 books, and I might have to stack them for the challenges. We'll see what happens. Now, as I'm also a part of the Reading Rush this year, formerly the BookTube-A-Thon, I have selected 7 books independently for the Reading Rush. The Reading Rush goes from July 22nd to the 29th. It's 7 days packed of video challenges and reading. The first challenge is reading a book with purple on the cover, and for that I chose Nixia by Scott Rankin. It is a sci-fi space story where these guys are looking for money. They need money, so they sign up to partake in a mining corporation, and they're mining a substance illegally on a planet. I get serious Illuminae files from this book, except it's an adult novel, so it'll be a little bit different, and I am so excited because everybody I know who's read this highly recommends it, so I'm so stoked. Next, our second challenge is to read one book in one spot from start to finish. I can choose my couch, my hammock, chair, whatever, as long as I read this one book from start to finish in this one spot. And for that, I chose Resisting Happiness by Matthew Kelly. It's one of those nonfiction stories that's kind of a self-help on getting more happiness out of life and how us as a society are moving away from happiness. And I really feel like this is something I need right now because lately I have been diving more into my depressive episodes, depressive tendencies, and so I really need to push myself out of it. The third challenge is to read a book you meant to read last year. And for that we have Complications, A Surgeon's Notes on an Imperfect Science by Atul Gawande. And I'm very stoked, very excited to read this book as I do work in surgery, but I also want to continue to be in surgery as a further career as a doctor. The fourth challenge is to read an author's first book. Now, I have tried this puppy once before, 2 months ago, and I did not get that far. I think I only made it to about chapter 9 or 11 before I stopped reading it because I left for Scotland. So, I am trying to take up the mantle and read it again, for Crown of Feathers being my fourth challenge choice by Nikki Pau Preto. So our fifth reading challenge happens to be to read a book with a non-human main character. And I really racked my brain and racked my shelves to find a book that doesn't have a human main character that wasn't fairy related, because I really wasn't in the mood for a fairy book. And I stumbled across The One and Only Yvonne by Catherine Applegate, or Ivan if you say Ivan instead of Yvonne. But this book just looks way too cute. It's a middle grade story. My friend gifted it to me. I haven't had a chance yet to read it yet, so obviously I need to jump on this bandwagon. And it's a cute story, but also it sounds really heartbreaking because it takes place where our main character Yvonne, the gorilla, meets a baby elephant named Ruby, who is taken from her family. Now, Yvonne lives in a shopping mall, and he's really obsessed with our current society and TV in particular, and so he is going to show her through media art how to love her new home and move on through her trauma of losing her family. The sixth reading challenge is to read a book with 5 or more words in the title. And I chose Archibald Finch and the Lost Witches, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. For book 1 by Michael Guyon. I have been obsessed with this book since I saw it on Instagram. It has beautiful artwork in the pages. I really want to read it. It sounds like a fantastic middle grade story about a boy stopping witches and getting exposed to this fantasy realm, and I'm on it. The seventh reading challenge is to read a book and watch its movie adaptation, or a TV adaptation of it. And so I chose The Shack by W.M. Paul Young. This was a pretty prominent movie, I think 2 years ago, but I've always wanted to read the book before watching the movie, and I got close to reading it once when I did a try-a-chapter challenge, and I ended up reading the first chapter, and that was all I did. So now this is my chance to finally read this book and finally watch the movie, as I have both, so I need to get on it. And the last 8th challenge, or badge, for the Reading Rush is to read 7 books in a week. So, we have here a whopping total of 16 books, plus 2 I plan to read before all the challenges start, for a total of 18 books in July. I don't know if I can do it because I've been averaging 4 or 5 books a month this whole year, but I'm going to try. It's going to be hard and fun, and I am excited for the challenge. Please let me know in the comments down below what you hope to read in the month of July. Are you participating in any of these read-a-thon challenges? Are you doing the final Bibliothon or the Reading Rush? Please let me know in the comments down below, and I'll check out your channel and watch all your challenge videos and all of that jazz. And if you aren't participating on the YouTube video format, there's also Instagram, or there's the Reading Rush website. I would love to follow you, be your friend, and encourage you through this hectic read-a-thon month. I hope you enjoyed watching this lengthy TBR video, and just know that you can reach out to me at any time on any of my social medias listed down below. I would love to hear from you. Keep the conversation and the chat and the hype going. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support, and until next time, bye!